Today, we're taking you on a journey across America's most struggling cities, places hit hardest by job loss and housing collapse. We'll walk through abandoned neighborhoods, talk to locals, and uncover the real stories behind the headlines. This isn't just a top 10 list, it's a deep dive into the heart of America's toughest spots. Let's get started. First stop, Detroit, Michigan, once the king of the auto industry. Decades ago, Detroit was booming, with high-paying jobs and a thriving middle class. But as factories closed and jobs vanished, the city's population plummeted. We drove through neighborhoods filled with abandoned houses and empty schools. Entire blocks left to decay. Home values crashed. You can buy a house for a few $1,000s, but many are beyond repair. The people who remain face the challenge of rebuilding amid widespread blight. Detroit is fighting back, but the scars of industrial collapse are everywhere. It's a powerful reminder of what happens when a city's lifeblood industry disappears. The Motor City's story is one of resilience, but also of deep, lasting struggle. Detroit's fight for recovery is far from over. Next, Cleveland, Ohio, another Rust Belt city shaped by manufacturing. When the steel mills closed, jobs disappeared almost overnight. Poverty soared, and families left in search of work, leaving behind vacant homes and shrinking neighborhoods. We saw street after street of boarded-up houses, a cycle of decline that's hard to break. Cleveland is working to reinvent itself with healthcare and tech, but recovery is slow. The shadow of its industrial past still looms large. The city's resilience is real, but the challenges are immense. Cleveland's story is a warning and a call to action. The fight to rebuild continues. St. Louis, Missouri, famous for its Gateway Arch, but also for decades of decline. Once a major manufacturing hub, the city lost over 60% of its population as jobs vanished. We explored North St. Louis, where entire neighborhoods sit empty and decaying. Thousands of abandoned buildings drag down property values and community morale. The cycle of job loss and population flight is hard to break. Downtown has seen some revitalization, but many areas are still struggling. St. Louis is a city of contrasts. Renewal in some places, deep hardship in others. The legacy of deindustrialization is everywhere. Residents fight to keep hope alive amid the decay. The challenge is ongoing. Baltimore, Maryland, a city with a rich history but plagued by vacant homes. The loss of industrial jobs hollowed out entire neighborhoods. We walked through West Baltimore, where classic row houses stand boarded up and collapsing. Over 15,000 homes sit empty, dragging down property values and fueling safety concerns. The city is fighting back with demolition and renovation programs, but it's an uphill battle. For those who remain, the struggle is daily and real. Baltimore's vacancy crisis is a stark symbol of urban decline, but the fight for community survival continues. Gary, Indiana, built by U.S. Steel, now a symbol of industrial collapse. When the steel mills downsized, tens of thousands lost their jobs. The city's population dropped by nearly 60%, leaving behind abandoned schools, churches, and homes. A third of all houses are empty or derelict, with nature reclaiming entire neighborhoods. Demolition efforts can't keep up with the scale of decay. Gary is a haunting reminder of what happens when a city depends on one industry. The scars are deep, but some residents are determined to rebuild. The challenge is enormous. Gary's story is a warning for single industry towns everywhere. Flint, Michigan, known for its water crisis, but the roots run deeper. Once a General Motors powerhouse, Flint lost tens of thousands of jobs as plants closed. The economic collapse set the stage for the water disaster, compounding the city's struggles. Today, Flint faces weak job and housing markets, with thousands of abandoned homes. Residents battle not just for clean water, but for the survival of their city. Flint's resilience is inspiring, but the fight is far from over. The trauma of economic and public health crises lingers. Flint's story is a call for change. Youngstown, Ohio, where decline has a date. Black Monday, 1977. The closure of steel mills wiped out thousands of jobs overnight. The population halved, leaving behind poverty, blight, and a crisis of identity. We saw neighborhoods still struggling with vacancy and decay. Youngstown is trying to reinvent itself with tech and advanced manufacturing, but the scars run deep. The city's story is a lesson in the dangers of economic dependency. Reinvention is slow, but hope remains. Youngstown's fight for a new future continues. Camden, New Jersey, across from Philadelphia, but a world apart. Once an industrial hub, Camden lost its factories and jobs, plunging into poverty and crime. Entire blocks of row houses are abandoned or demolished. Unemployment remains high, and property values are extremely low. Recent investments in education and public safety offer hope, but deep challenges persist. Camden's struggle is ongoing, but so is its fight for renewal. The city's resilience is tested daily. Camden's story is one of hardship and hope. Birmingham, Alabama, once the Pittsburgh of the South for its steel industry. As mills closed, the city faced economic stagnation, population loss, and urban decay. Today, Birmingham is transforming with new industries and a revitalized downtown. But not all neighborhoods share in the recovery. Poverty and blight remain. Birmingham's story is one of both impressive rebirth and persistent inequality. The legacy of industrial decline still shapes the city. Recovery is uneven, but progress is real. Birmingham's journey is far from finished. Stockton, California, a different kind of crisis, born from the housing bubble. The city boomed in the early 2000s, then crashed hard when the bubble burst. Foreclosures soared, jobs vanished, and Stockton declared bankruptcy. Neighborhoods were left scarred by vacant homes and lost dreams. The city is slowly recovering, but many families lost everything. Stockton's story is a warning about unchecked growth and risky lending. The scars of the crisis are still visible. Recovery is slow, but hope persists. Stockton's lessons echo far beyond California. 10 cities, 10 stories of struggle and resilience. We saw firsthand how job loss and housing crises reshape entire communities. But in every city, we found people fighting to rebuild and bring hope back. Their determination is the heart of this story. These aren't just statistics, they're American stories that matter. If you want to see more eye-opening journeys, subscribe and support our work. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.